Welcome to Savvy Business, Life Unscripted, with your host, Christina Rivera, where our guests share their wisdom and valuable business tips, empowering our audience to expand their personal potential.
Hi, Stephanie Franklin. Welcome to Savvy Broadcasting, Life Unscripted. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you betcha. I am super excited. You are the CEO of Fly Wines, and we were so blessed here to get a wonderful box of your tasting wines. And my favorite, as I said, was the Cabernet Sauvignon. Oh my gosh, so amazing. All of their wines were amazing, but you have an amazing story of how you even came to create your business. And that's what I love about Savvy. So many of our business owners either had a passion or saw a need in the marketplace and wanted to fill that need. So before we go any further, just share with our audience what even prompted you to create Fly Wines.
Thank you so much. And I'm happy that you enjoy our wine. We take a very high pleasure in making sure that we craft and curate wines for wine lovers that everyone will enjoy. So how did Fly Wines come about? Literally in the middle of the pandemic, sitting with a friend, social distancing. And she said, oh, I did a wine tasting and it was horrible. Meaning the packaging was cute, but the wine itself in the packaging was bad. And I was like, all of it was bad. I was like, oh my God. And a light bulb went off in my head. And I was like, I can do this. And at the time I was in tech, I worked in the ad tech, MarTech space. So I was solely focused in tech, and then life happens and people pass away. And I said, why not? And I was like, why not take a chance on myself? I take so many chances with other companies and building up other companies. Why not build up a dream, making my dream a reality? So it was crafted with myself and my team. I do have a team of 2 others. We have Assam, who's Giuliano, who's actually one of my really good friends. And he always educated me on wine because I just always love learning about wines, especially in my 30s and understanding it, the notes behind it. So that idea was crafted and we were able to put it together. And it took us about 2 years in the making to get everything really sorted. I'm not sure if anyone in the audience knows anything about liquor licenses and dealing with ABC, but it's pretty complex, especially if you don't want to pay a lawyer tens of thousands of dollars. So we took the time to do everything, craft everything ourselves. And we took the time to develop those different relationships with the international wineries as well, because that's the second phase of what we're doing. And you have the first phase, which is our local gem, Fortino, in the wine box that you receive.
Yeah. And so what you're doing for people is you're curating for them different vineyards for them to try wines that they might have not seen in their local liquor store or whatever, but they're wonderful vineyards out there for you to be able to test and taste and have the glory of trying some of these that you might not otherwise get to try, which is great. Now you're supporting other local businesses on top of it. So when they come to your place, they're not only supporting your business, but other local businesses and domestic businesses.
Correct. And that's the main thing that sets us apart. We focus on those local wineries. So even when I first moved to the Bay Area, all I knew about wineries was Napa and Sonoma. Then there's so many others. Fortino, who you see in our box, they're located in Gilroy. And not only that, our international wines coming in, they're independent wineries that we work with around the world that work exclusively with us. So anything that you'll be able to purchase through our wine subscription for our international, you can only find it through Fly Wines.
That's great. So they love it. There's only one place to come to.
Yeah, it just makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
And then also it helps us to really build and grow their footprint in the US without them feeling overwhelmed. So we're so excited about what we're bringing in. We have our first one is coming in called Mosole, which I love. That Italian. Then we have our Turkish wine that's coming in.
That's so cool. Now, I don't know if everyone's a wine expert. I know I'm not, but I just heard a couple of years ago that there's several different grapes. Like when you hear the different names of the wine, it's because they're using different types of grapes. And I've always wondered, like, how do so many different grapes come up with so many different wonderful tastes and maybe sometimes not so wonderful? Like, what is the process that makes some wine exceptional and some not so?
There's so many different factors when it comes to climate within itself, what's the changing, the environment. It mostly is down to the weather as well as the grapes that maybe grow fertile within a particular climate and soil. So even like you stated about the different varietals, we have a Turkish wine coming in, and there are two brothers that work with this winery. One's the chef, the other's a geologist. So he resurrects grapes that are like 500 BC. So it's like, it will be grapes you've never heard of before. Fursan grapes. What's a Fursan grape? Well, this grape is indigenous to Turkey, and it used to be a really big wine grape 500 years ago. And if you have him tell it, they taught the Italians how to make wine. But that's not here or there. That's
their fight, not ours. Yeah.
Exactly.
But I love this. But this is what's amazing. It's like combining science with the culinary arts and stuff, because he's bringing a grape back, like you're saying, that we are not using today, and bringing it back. So now we get to try different tastes that we've not had before.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing here at Fly Wines. We focus on a lot of independent wineries, as well as even underrepresented countries. Like we're looking into bringing some Armenian wine, as well as some wine from Ukraine. So we're really excited. And then Georgian wines, of course, are coming in, our Portuguese wines.
That's great. And this is great, Fly Wines, for anyone who's like, say, a novice, like me practically, because if you don't know anything about wine, getting your boxes will get you to learn about the different grapes and which ones fit your palate, because everyone has a different palate and different taste. What I might love, someone else won't be too keen on. So it's a perfect thing for someone who said, well, I don't know anything about wine. Well, then you definitely need to get Fly Wines.
Yes, we wanted to create a wine tasting experience wherever you are that made you feel luxurious, as if you were at a vineyard, even though you were at home or wherever you may be in the office. So with that being said, you get to taste and sample these bottles of wine without committing to a full bottle, because we found that a lot of times, sometimes people are just home, they want to just have a sip and not a full bottle, and they feel bad if they waste a bottle of wine.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah,
it's a nice way for you to experience high quality wine and a luxurious type of presentation wherever you are.
And you are very correct. It is very luxurious. The boxes that it comes in, the whole experience is amazing. It's also great if, say, like we were saying beforehand, I remember years ago when we first started Savvy, there was a new business coming out, and what they were doing is monthly, they were doing a game of the month. So they would send you a small teeny Monopoly set, but the deal was they made it like a party night. So they would throw in the box some other cool things that were exciting, maybe a bottle of wine or whatever. So every month your party box would come with other varying stuff. One of them, I think, had some sake with some chopsticks and some other things. So you could have like a, I guess, Japanese party, sushi party. But I thought the idea was so great, because like your Fly Wines, it allows you to say, hey, friends, let's get together and make a party of this. Let's get together and enjoy the experience together.
Exactly. The box has well more than enough wine for you to share with someone else. And then also, a lot of people love to gift our boxes to people as housewarming gifts. And it's so amazing to hear from their friends that they may ship it to and they don't know it's coming out. Oh, he or she loved it. And I'm like, this is great. We love to hear from our customers on that we're providing, where we're exceeding their expectations, because that's one of our main things. We want you to know there's high quality wine, but our goal is to, when you receive our boxes or anything communication with Fly Wines, that we exceed your expectations.
Wow. You hit on something so important. I wish every company could embody what you just said there, because I feel that customer service is missing in so many different businesses. Yes. No matter what the business is. And I think if we could all take that mindset into our business of how can I really make this experience for my customer, no matter what it is I'm providing, exceptional. And they could learn a lot from you guys. Was there any really difficulty in setting up your vision and making it from where you started to fruition, to completion? What were some of the kind of difficult points?
Oh my goodness, there are always difficult points. There are hurdles along the way at any twist and turn. From when you're figuring out, okay, this license from ABC, okay, you crossed the license hurdle. Now let's get the boxes. And then you realize how much people actually want for boxes. You're like, what? Do you realize understanding what a die line is? I had no idea what a die line was and how much a structured engineer to create a box
Yeah.
would be. So there are always hurdles along the way, from bottling, from communication, from I didn't no idea who TTB was. I had no idea how the FDA would have anything to do with wine. So it's not even one big major one. There are many hurdles along the way. And I actually communicated this to someone the other day. I'm like, you realize that these are hurdles and not mountains, and you understand how not to turn a hurdle into a mountain once you face so many of them. So it's like, okay, there's a hurdle, it's a bump, unexpected. What do we need to do? Let's take it step by step. I have personally taken ownership of growing fly wines in the way that works for me. I tell people all the time, if I had seen what would require in building this company prior to building it, I would have gotten discouraged. I'm like, I don't know, it's not going on. But because we took it step by step, it was like, okay, step one, what do we need to do? We did that. What do we need to do for the next step? So it allowed us to really take our time and to not get overwhelmed. And that's one thing I can say for anyone that's looking to go into any new avenue or pivot, especially as myself, had no prior history into the wine industry. I worked in the MarTech space. But when you're taking the time to pivot, just give yourself grace and take it step by step. And don't try to figure it all out. It's not going to be big. It's just not going to happen. There will always be hurdles.
Yeah. And what I'm loving about what you're saying here is you don't need the whole elephant at once, just bit by bit, deal with the problems as they come up. And I think that's just fabulous advice for anyone. As you say, if they're pivoting or starting a new business, there are going to be things you don't know. And you have to count on, yes, there's going to be failures, there's going to be hurdles. But as long as you say, okay, boom, what's the first step to working our way out of this problem, whether it's a customer service related issue or whatever it might be, one step at a time to moving towards resolution and growing. So this is awesome, but I want everyone to find out, where can they get their very own copy of Fly Wines and join monthly? Is it like a monthly thing, or can they just join once, or what does it look like?
We actually have two ways to work with us. One is our wine tasting box, which is what you receive. You just go to Fly, FLY, wines, WINES.club, CLUB. We're a club. And you can purchase our box as a one-off, our wine tasting boxes. This month, we're actually in the middle of launching our wine subscription program. So we'll have our international end, where you'll be able to have 2 bottles of wine, our wine, shipped to you monthly. And because we're just launching that off, you will be able to buy those bottles on a one-off basis as well through our website.
That's great. So now, would these be the smaller tasting bottles for the subscription?
These will be full bottles. These will be full bottles. The international side is full bottles of wine. The one where we have our local gem, which is the wine tasting box you have, those are the smaller ones.
Well, I totally suggest everyone go out there. And if you're not wanting to commit yet, at least go get the wine tasting box so you could try it and see what an amazing experience it is. And maybe just make it a wonderful evening with friends and family. Why not? Enjoy the experience with everyone. And, that's one thing you mentioned. You started this during the whole pandemic thing. And I'm sure a lot of people were locked up and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm not seeing my friends. And it's just not the same. It's just like, I'm going to get a bottle of wine and sit here in front of Zoom. It's just not the same as having that experience with people in the same room. And so I'm so glad we're getting back to that one-on-one or multiple people experience.
Same. And then we're also elevating Fly Wines. We're very focused on education. So as we grow, you're going to see a lot more of the wine education element to it, so that it's not intimidating at all. We try to break it down to where anyone can understand it.
That's awesome. Well, I thank you so much, Stephanie Franklin, for coming and sharing your great wisdom. I'm hoping we sparked everyone's interest who wanted to learn more about not just enjoying an occasional glass, but getting to know more about the world of wine. So thank you so much for coming today to share your gifts and the wonderful story of Fly Wines and coming to Savvy Broadcasting.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, everyone, please go to flywines.club and get your box today or subscription. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for coming today to Savvy Broadcasting.
Thank you.
Looking for a hilarious read? Well, check out my latest book, My Crazy Roommates. The names have been changed to protect the deranged. Step into the wild and unpredictable world of young adulthood in the heart of New York City. Brace yourself for a roller coaster ride through the trials, tribulations, and hilarious moments of shared living spaces with a colorful cast of characters. Fasten your seatbelt and get ready to laugh, cringe, and maybe shed a tear as you delve into the pages of My Crazy Roommates. So get your copy today, available at Amazon.com.